You've clicked onto this video because you are wanting to learn what made me hit the longest drives of my life, the incredible move. But more so, you want to know whether it's going to work for you or not. Now, I can't promise you're going to see instant results straight away, but what I can promise is that if you watch the step-by-step guide that I outline in this video to help you apply this incredible move into your golf game, you will see results with drives going longer and straighter. Now, it really is important that you follow these steps 1, 2, and 3, as it makes combining these into the move so much easier to add into your golf game. Now, if you're a returning viewer, thanks for tuning back in. If you are new to the channel, I'm Harry, a golf teach professional helping golfers improve their games. So feel free to click that subscribe button if this video does help you, as I'll be posting content every single week just like this one. So what made me hit the drives of my life was this move right here. It was all to do with a combination of how the lower body and the upper body work in the driver golf swing to help me hit those drives further, but more importantly, straighter as well. With the first step being building the club head speed. So what I'm going to teach you today is how we can build the club head speed up to a point where it feels more effortless for you to go out and play on the golf course. So you start seeing further drives, and then we can start to bring that in. How do we then control that speed and start to see a bit more accuracy? And then the final tip I'm going to give you that I learned is how we control the ball flight. How do we control the ball flight so we can hit more fairways more often? So one of the best ways any golfer can improve their club head speed is all to do with how the ground reaction forces work in the downswing. So whenever we make our way into the top of the backswing and we start this downswing using the lower body, there is always going to be a bit of a force that reacts upon our feet. Now, this force is all to do with one of Isaac's laws of motion, where for every force acting on a stationary object, so a good example is us pressing into the ground, adding the pressure into the ground here, onto this stationary object being the floor, there is always an equal and opposite reaction taking place. The more I can apply pressure into the ground as I move into the downswing, the more power and force naturally I'll be able to produce from the ground. And from this, that will apply into more club head speed as we make contact with the golf ball. And to begin adding this into the golf swing, I want you to take the club and place it across your shoulders, imagining that you're just going to take your hands either side like this here, with the butt end of the club ideally on the lead side of you. So for right-handed golfers, the left side, left-handed golfers out there watching this video, it's going to be the right side. And when you set up into the golf ball with your normal stance and setup, once you've placed the club across the shoulders with your hands either side, for this first part, all I want you to do is turn to the very top of the swing as far back as you can get. Now, some of you won't be able to go as far as others, and that's absolutely fine. All I want you to do is twist your body up until a point where you're struggling to twist it anymore. Now, just be careful. When you do this, there is a tendency that I see golfers make of where they'll twist their lower half and encourage their upper half to go in this sort of direction here, just to make sure they're applying pressure onto this trail side. We want to apply pressure, of course, onto this trail side, but naturally, and when I say naturally, by just twisting round like so. So you can see here, as I do this movement, I'm just ensuring that my back is going to be facing towards the target. Whether you practice this at a driving range, the golf projects, this indoor facility, or out on a golf course, just twisting to the point that we can maximize our distance potential, our power potential as we apply this into the downswing. Now, the second part of this is the actual transition. How should we be transitioning into the downswings? Well, as I mentioned before, for every force applied on a stationary object, there's always an equal and opposite force taking place. As we apply more pressure into the ground, we're going to get more force and more power from that movement. For me, what I like to feel is as I make my way into the top of the backswing, I am squatting down afterwards. To start that transition, I'm squatting down. So think of it as a bit of a combination between the rotation that you would normally get, the twisting action into the backswing, and then you're squatting down as if you were to do a squat jump. Now, when we make a squat jump, what happens? We press into the ground first as we then push back up, to then push back upwards. If we were to try and jump straight away, we wouldn't be able to go anywhere because there's no force being applied from the ground. We've got no force to push us back up in the air. So the same applies, apart from we're not going to be jumping out the way, but the same applies with the golf swing. We're going to be getting that rotation as much as we can into the backswing, the twist. And to start that downswing, all I want you to do is, rather than moving the body, rather than getting this rotation to start the downswing, I want you to press into the ground. I want you to bend those knees, feel that added pressure going into the trail foot especially, but still you should be able to feel more pressure going into the lead foot as well. And from here, the more you can squat, the better, because it's going to get you to react quicker as we make our way into the downswing. As we apply more force, it's going to react. The more you squat, the lower you're going to get. So when we start to try the golf club, you're not going to be able to hit some decent golf shots from this point. So then we're going to push back up to hit that golf ball. So how does this work all in one motion? So from the top of the swing, we're squatting down. Then the idea from there is we're jumping back up and through. We're pushing from the ground. And when I say from the ground, I mean pushing upwards. We're pressing more into the ground to push ourselves back up. And look at what happened there. What happened to my hips? I went to the top of the swing, I applied this pressure, and as I pushed back upwards, encouraged more pressure into the ground to push myself upwards. What's that really encouraging my body to do now? Unwind. It's encouraging my body to then unwind into the downswing. And this is a simple drill for the first stage that really helped me increase my club head speed when I trained to try and hit the golf ball 400 yards. If you would like to see that series, I'll leave a link at the end of the video so you can take a look at that. It was a few years ago though, so bear with me with my poor editing skills. So trying this all in one movement is not going to be very consistent to start off with. You are going to notice a lot of off-centered strikes, some at the top, bottom, heel, toe. It doesn't matter. All we're bothered about is how fast we can swing the golf club. All I'm going to do here is, just as I get into this movement as if I was to start again, the first thing I would do is practice this in stages and then build this up into all in one motion swings. So up to the top, pressing down and then pushing back up from the ground. It's going to feel easier as we start to combine those two steps as we make our way into the downswing, the transition and then the turn on the way through. So up to the top for 1, down for 2, up for 3. So there's the feel, there's that sensation. You're going to lose balance a little bit doing this as well, and that's absolutely fine because it's your body and your brain learning and understanding how to stay in balance when swinging quicker. So that is absolutely fine. As long as you don't fall forwards towards the ball and we fall either back or we fall forwards towards the net, great stuff, because that means you're applying the pressure in the right way. Just to add a bonus tip to this, if you really want to push the boundaries with this, we don't want any tension from the arms. We don't want any tension coming from those arms because tension is a key factor that slows golfers down. It slows golfers' swings down, because a good example of this is if someone was to stand here, or if we had a wall here just in front of you and you were to swing back and forth as fast as you could, but you had to stop before hitting the wall. If you just did that action at the driving range or the back garden, you will feel yourself start to apply tension in your arms, your forearms and your hands to stop the club from hitting the wall. So tension is going to slow us down. It's designed to slow us down. So if you want to really push those boundaries, you want to relax the arms. You want to let the arms do whatever they want in the golf swing. It's going to feel very strange for you to get used to. But again, this first step is to get you building that club head speed. So whether you wanted just to work on that ground movement and then apply the arm movement afterwards, I would say that's probably the best way to do it, as you can gradually get used to the different feels into your golf swing. So first shot, just hitting the drive, just getting used to those 3 movements. And then the second shot will apply, relaxing those hands a little bit more. So really nice hit on that one, just ever slightly out the toe, which usually helps me because I have the tendency to push it out to the right. Taking a look at how fast I was able to swing that, let's have a look at that. Okay, so 121.4, which is usually around my standard club head speed there. So let's see if there's going to be a bit of a difference when I start to apply the arms into this movement. So we've got the lower body working, let's get those arms working more so. So just keeping them relaxed, allowing them to whip through, doing whatever they want in the golf swing. Let's see. The speed will go up, but I can't guarantee the direction will be there just yet. So a little bit quicker, hit that one way off the toe. As you can see, it's gone a bit too far left, but the club head speed has increased just that little bit extra, just from me relaxing the arms more in the downswing. And this brings us into the second part of this video, which is all to do with how we can control the club head speed that we have built. So fast forwarding a week or so, you've practiced this drill a couple of times at the driving range, and you've really seen the results of more speed, but not quite with the direction of the golf shot. So the first thing we want to be looking at is how we can control the speed to help improve the strike. Now, whether you've been hitting them out the toe or heel as your more consistent miss with the strike, you want to get yourself a head cover and place it on the ground like I have here. And what that's going to allow me to do is address the golf ball a little bit further towards the toe side with the aim to avoid the head cover. Now, if I was to push my hands away, I would hit that head cover. So the key for me when I was practicing this and controlling that club head speed was to avoid that head cover on the ground. If you are someone who hits them out the toe side, you want to be placing the head cover on the other side of the golf ball, just like this here. And for you, you've got to make sure to avoid that head cover, you are pushing your arms further away from the body. And therefore it's going to highly likely miss that head cover and promote those drives from the toe closer to the center heel bias ball strikes. So I'm going to place back on the toe side of the club. Okay, so that one did go a little bit to the right, which I'm not too fussed about. All I'm focused on in step number 2 is making sure I hit them more out the middle. So let's take a look and see how that one did. Club head speed was pretty good. Let's take a look at the club delivery. Looking at that one there, maybe a touch out of the heel side of the club there. As you can see, to be fair, we can see the dots on either side of the club. So I hit that one pretty much out the middle. Let's check this one, impact location. Very, very good indeed. I would usually tend to see them more out the heel side, so this side of the golf club. So really, really happy with that there. When you start to practice this, you are going to find that the ball striking will improve just simply placing that head cover either side of the golf ball, depending on whether you notice more heel or toe strikes. But what happens if you are struggling with hitting them either out the bottom of the driver or the top of the driver? I haven't mentioned this just yet. Well, because it's the difference in height from top to bottom, what I would suggest is trying out a couple of different size tees. If you tend to find that you sky the golf ball or hit them out the top of the club head, I'd recommend lowering your tee height and seeing if that improves the overall strike. And then from there, you can judge whether they go out the toe or heel. And then you can do this drill here to help you narrow in the strike. The opposite, of course, if you're finding you're hitting them out the bottom, I'd recommend teeing up the ball a bit higher just to help you then get the ball working up the face and more towards that center point. Then afterwards, you can judge whether it's toe or heel and then start to use this drill to your advantage. And this now brings us into stage number 3. So we've worked on improving the strike over time. We've used this drill after a couple of more weeks. The final thing that I found that really helped me produce the drives of my life and get this incredible move into my swing was all to do with how we could control the ball flight. Now, once you've learned this final step, you're going to be wanting to take all this out onto the golf course. Now, what I would suggest for you to do if you're looking to help your game further is taking a look at downloading my course management ebook. It's a simple and effective, easy to read guide to help you manage your way better around a golf course. I'm going to take these 2 alignment sticks. I'm going to place one directly behind the golf ball to target line. I'm going to place one ahead of the golf ball to target line as well. Now this here, as we can see, we've created one dead straight line. And what this is going to act as is the neutral club path. Now, a lot of golf players out on tour, Tommy Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, you name it, they all have a certain shot shape that they play with. You barely see them hit a perfectly straight golf shot. And the reason is it's really, really hard to do. What they find easier is producing a consistent ball flight. So if you are finding at the moment that you are slicing the golf ball, I would recommend taking a look at adding the in to out draw bias swing into your golf game. And if you are the hook with the golf ball, I'd highly recommend persevering with the out to win path that I show you in this video that gets you producing consistent fades. So if you are someone out there at the moment that's suffering with a similar shot shape to what I hit earlier just there, where they just push out to the right a little bit, that path is ever so slightly too far out to win, leaving the club face a bit too open, what we want to be producing is a more draw bias swing path. So take your stance, work your way up to the very top of the swing as normal, but on the way down, your aim is to try and visualize the driver head staying underneath this stick here on the way down. And as you then make contact and pass the impact position, we're trying to get that driver to hover over the stick on the way through. Now you can see here as I'm doing this, I'm allowing that club face to naturally rotate over. This is going to help me just close the club face down a little bit more and start to produce those draw shots. So just hitting the shot now, taking it nice and slow, really ingraining that feel though still from step number 1. We've applied that part from step number 2 of improving the strike. Now it's time to improve the club path. So I'm going to aim just to try and get myself a little bit more in to out on this one, see if I can get it around 2 to 3 degrees and see if I can start hitting a few shots back to target. So that one's pretty good there, a little bit of a draw. Very pleased with that shot. For me, the feeling was just obviously swinging in to out, just visualizing the club go underneath that stick on the way down and then over the stick on the way through. Checking what the club path was, 1.9 degrees in to out. What was the face angle on that one? Ever so slightly more open, so I've obviously hit that one ever so slightly more out the toe. So great for me there with having that difficulty of hitting them out the heel from step number 2. Now faders are the golf ball. You are trying to visualize that club. You're visualizing the club go over the stick on the way down and under the stick on the way through. And you can see there as I practice that move from the side on camera angle, you can see that's encouraging me there just to make sure I get the club head a little bit more on the outside, visualizing it staying over the stick from my eye view and then getting on the inside of the stick on the way through. So same feeling with the actual swing, just trying to get the club to go over to then under those 2 sticks. That certainly felt well struck, close to the middle again, and I was able to just literally feel that sensation of getting the club a touch over that stick on the way down, a touch under on the way through. With the club path, of course, backing it up at as much as minus 5.4. Now, I must admit, I do find it easier to swing a bit more out to in just with the driver because the way the ball is positioned further forward in the stance. So if you find it gets a little bit excessive and you start to see slices creep in your game from the hooks, just take the ball position and place it closer, slightly closer to the middle of the stance, and you should find that the club path will reduce a little bit. You've spent a couple of more weeks working on that move, and what you will find that because you've done this in stages is that combining these moves into one has been a lot easier for you. Rather than getting all 3 steps, trying to work on all 3 steps at once, we build the club head speed first. We learned how to control the club head speed by improving the strike, and then we also learn how to control the ball flight just through executing the correct path that's going to help you produce a more controllable ball flight. And you'll find the face angle will produce better results for you and therefore better golf shots. So once you've done these 3 steps and you've focused on those, building this all into one motion swings, I want you to comment down below to let me know how you've got on from watching this video, and be sure to hit that subscribe button as there is lots more content coming your way. Be sure to check out this video over here if you'd like to see the race to 400 yards that I attempted quite some time ago, and the bottom video for more tips to help you improve your driver shots. This video has been sponsored by GX Golf, who provide high quality golf gloves at a fraction of the price in comparison to their competitors on the market. Using the code HARRY10 along with all my other discount codes in the description below, you can get yourself a great deal off the gloves and other training aids and equipment to help you improve your game, as well as online and individual golf lessons.